everyone, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome to another one of my live streams, and welcome to Do It Yourself Budget Hot Rodding. And in today's Do It Yourself Budget Hot Rodding, we're going to kind of start preluding to a video that I started to work on, went sideways, because when people see your kid camera equipment, they got to come up and interrupt you. Yeah, I got neighbors like that. Y'all wonder why I have a hard time with stuff filmed. So I'm going to kind of go over some stuff in today's streams, kind of start getting, for those out there that have said millions of times, I wouldn't mind turning wrenches myself. So we're going to start kind of touching base on that stuff. So here we go again, All right. So first things first, I'm going to give about 5 to 10 minutes and see where things are going to be going. But the general rule of thumb is normally I don't stream on Mondays. Well, I hadn't been. We're getting ready to kind of change the schedule around a little bit more so I can get in my stream time. But since Princess Faye took Fridays, now I got Mondays kind of open again. So I thought today I would start kind of covering some of those odds and ends things that people just don't talk about in the hot rod community. That it doesn't really get talked about, and I'm even going to give away some little old school secrets that'll save you all a little bit of money in the long run. So that is the plan for this evening. Would win, right? I'm also going to be cracking open a brand new tool set that I picked up. I also got a new toolbox that we're going to be starting to put together. This is also part of the video series that I'm going to be doing for the Lady Hot Rodders, but start kind of preluding to that. There's a good reason for it. Why we're kind of taking this step by step. But I'll basically be opening up this toolbox. I just got it. All I did was cut the band off of it, so it makes it easy to open it up on camera. So I had a chance to open this up. But basically it looks like it's your standard run-of-the-mill 3/8" drive socket set, basically all deep well, which I use a lot of deep well, just the way it is. So right now that is the game plan. I'm going to double check, see what's all happening here. But so that's just kind of the game plan right now. It's kind of a dead stream right now. Brand new tools, brand new toolbox. I'll be doing all of that this evening. So usually about first 10 minutes, I don't expect to see a whole lot of people. And then after that, it starts kind of picking up a little bit. Mondays was supposed to be Faye's Corner, and then I was going to figure out how I was going to. Right now, since Princess Faye's got her segment here on the channel, I have to figure out where I'm going to fit everything in. So that's where we're at right now, kind of adjusting the schedule. So that is our game plan. I see our first person has made their way in. Again, we're just talking, we're just doing some basic maintenance stuff that we're going to be kind of going over this evening. We're not going to do any, nothing crazy, nothing fancy when talking this stuff. But we're going to be, this is kind of preluding to the ladies hot rod series that we've been slowly kind of piecing together. I've got the video footage to edit after this live stream, so I'm probably not going to stay live super long. I just want to get a little bit of time in, kind of make sure I keep them watch time hours up above what I need, that sort of thing. We're even going to talk about this mysterious stuff here, okay? We're going to talk a little bit about this mysterious stuff here. Even talk about some of this fuel additive stuff that you see from time to time. throughout your like even like your local Walmart, you'll see this stuff. And the brand that I usually use when it comes to fuel additives, okay? There's actually a brand that I prefer. Yeah, I know that probably doesn't surprise any of you out there that might be watching this. Okay, so again, it is kind of a quiet stream, but we're going to wait about another 5 minutes before we start actually talking about it because I hate stopping in the middle of the freaking stream. Hey, it's like let's everybody get in on this, okay? It's hard to keep your train of thought. That's one of the reasons why I love edited content for what we're going to try to do tonight. Because it's sometimes hard to juggle. I hate having to try to juggle it. I'm horrible at it because I just don't have the memory capacity that I once did. So, from what I can tell, this is actually the type that I prefer. I don't like the 12 point sockets. We'll talk more about that in just a bit. But I also see SAE and metric in here. Not that Spirit would need any metric, but Lena does. And occasionally I have to break out different toolboxes. So we're going to try to avoid a lot of that. Basically, we're going to start getting everybody, Princess Faye is going to have her toolbox for Project Lena. Project Spirit's going to have her own toolbox, and then we'll have a specific toolbox that'll have a little bit of everything for both cars right here in the office at all times. That is kind of the game plan. So like I said, I also got a brand new toolbox over here that we're going to start putting together Spirit stuff. And then we're going to basically, while putting together Spirit stuff, Lena's also going to Lena's toolbox is still in pretty good shape, so we're probably going to run it for a little while longer. But I'm going to go through it and make sure that everything that toolbox needs, it has. Which also brings to mind, I got one of these. Princess Faye got me this, and they call it like the Gator Grip. Hey, what's going on? TFZ Gaming and Design. I haven't seen you in a minute. How you been, buddy? I'm just doing a little bit of tool talk for cars. Got an unboxing of tools tonight, and going to go over some fuel additive stuff, kind of preventative maintenance sort of stuff for your vehicle, whether it's fuel, coolant, things like that, including a few old hacks that will save you money in the long run, especially on coolant. So it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a minute. I know you've been busy. I have stayed busy myself. We've been busy. I know I snuck over to Queen's live stream, and I know I poked my head into one of yours not that long ago. But like usual, I was hung up, so I didn't get a chance to say anything. I just kind of dropped my like and, kind of sat around for a few moments and then had to politely make my way out because it's just staying too damn busy. I'm always working anymore, always working on something, and it does not stop. Just one of the things. You guys understand that? Hey, I get it, man. So yeah, tonight we're going to be kind of going over some tool stuff. What's going on, Simon? Yep, just as I suspected. About 10 minutes in, which we're at 9 minutes in, people would start making their way in. So tonight, like I said, we're going to be going over a lot of preventative maintenance stuff. This is old school stuff that I'm going to teach you all, and hopefully by the end of this of tonight's live stream, you'll have a great deal more knowledge about automotive than you could have ever anticipated. And we're not even getting into the nuts and the bolts. I'm going to try to keep it. I'm going to try to keep it simple. Okay. No guarantees. No guarantees. Can chase them rabbits. Well, we're pretty well at the top of we're close to that top of the 10-minute marker. So this is a brand new tool set that I picked up today. It's the new series that Walmart just got in. I think, I say new, it's about a couple of years old. They just got this new series in, company called Hart. I'm not very familiar with them, but it does come with a lifetime warranty. Okay. Standard 3/8 inch drive socket set. Okay. Very important. And why, well, we haven't even gotten to what the tools themselves look like. One of the things that grabbed my eye and very important, and you guys will understand once I explain this. Let me grab a good size one so you all can get a good look at it. I'm gonna grab a good old 9/16. 9/16. 9/16 is pretty well. If you own a true American car, 9/16, you're gonna get used to seeing this a lot, especially if you own a Chevy. If you own an old school Chevy, 9/6, if you don't have a 9/16 in your tool set, you screwed. Okay, TFZ, I know you got one. I know you got a 383 stroker under the hood of that Camaro of yours. So I know full well you know exactly what I'm talking about. 9/16 goes a long ways. So if you look, this is what we call the six, basically the six slaughter, not a 12 slot. I do not like 12 slaughters, Sam I am, because a lot of times, because they'll grab hold of it and you go to turn and you'll chew up the inside on those 12 slaughters. It was initially designed to allow you to, make it easier for you to lock it into place. Well, I'm so sorry. These hold up better. These last longer. So those 12 slaughters, those little star, 9/16 and all that other types like that get chewed up so easy. And I seen deep well, and I always end up needing deep well. Always end up needing deep well. Another little something I've noticed right out of the gate. Of course, here. Yep, see, 9/16 and 5/8. Yep. You'll run into the occasional half inch or exactly. Um, you'll use a lot, yeah. Showing off the new tool set that I just picked up. Bad bat. Kind of going over a couple of things. Again, we're down. This is a nice beefy design, and it does have that unusual spring release. You push in, locks it in. Not supposed to go anywhere. There it goes. Locks it in. I think it's supposed to. There it goes. Hey, Queen. Good to see you. But that's what we got this for. So this is the new tool set that's going to be going in for Spirit's new toolbox. Now, if you are a true fan of building things, working on things like that, again, buy quality tools, and right away, again, we're down to where I said those six slaughters like this are going to be your best friend. That's funny, bad bat. But yeah, these little, trust me. So the only thing from here that I will need in the 3/4 inch drive is a regular size socket sets. About half the size of these. Okay, half the length. So in essence, really for a repair kit for your car, really all you need is a set of sockets. You're going to need deep well and standard length sockets. Okay, and your regular wrenches, which over in, I know, England, they call them spanners. Okay, and you need those in metric and SAE. Okay, now SAE is your standard, what some people call the American Imperial System, which it makes no sense. That is true, Angry Stewie. It is Black History Month. And I hope more people talk about my personal favorite, one of my personal favorites during Black History Month, none other than Malcolm X. The guy who was actually critical of Martin Luther King. Yeah. So also make sure that you get a few of these. These are basically socket extensions. I'll show you what I mean. Oh, get on there. You know you when you got new tools. Oh, shoot, yeah. That's awesome. There you go. But yeah, this little guy, basically now I'm ready to start, go out there. I could work if the weather wasn't so sucky right now. But now I could go out there pretty well and know that I've got the right tools for the job for Project Spirit. It's that simple. My God, man, that's quality stuff right there. It's still brand new, still in the box. Which I got a brand new big old freaking toolbox over there. So my old red toolbox that we kept for Spirit, it goes away. I've also got a big giant one over there. I got to go through it, and then I got to go through Princess Faye's toolbox. But she's probably going to get some stuff like this herself. Now, there are different sizes of sockets while I'm talking about socket wrenches and sockets as well. Not just these, being in different sizes, but there's different, if you will. This is a 3/8 inch drive socket wrench. Okay, great. There's also, all right, I'll holler. I do want it. So basically, a 3/8 inch drive end connects in just like that. Okay. Poor Raven, he catches so much flack. Hey, what's up, Donald? Good to see you. I know who that is. Thank you. But basically, that's but there is a smaller one of these. There's what they call the 1/4 inch drive. And then there's a bigger one called the 1/2 inch drive. And I think there's even an even bigger one than that, but that's more industrial stuff there. Now, 1/2 inch drive. Yeah, I know who it was. I recognized your name. Remember, we're on Facebook together. We buds on Facebook. But yeah, so basically for about $20 US, got a brand new set of tools. All right, and it does come again with the lifetime warranty. Okay, so tools with lifetime warranty, always a plus. I remember the days when Craftsman tools were like that. Yeah, I remember when Craftsman tools were just like that, but not so much anymore. Good luck finding anybody that does that. All right, so now that I've done that, let's get down to meat and potatoes here, if you will. Vehicles need coolant. They need coolant to keep the engines running from overheating, especially if you've got an aluminum engine. When you start talking aluminum heads, aluminum blocks, aluminum does not like gaskets, and you have to keep those engines cool. Well, I'm not doing it right now. It's dark outside. Well, you can't see. It's dark outside. Actually, no, you do not put antifreeze in the fuel tank, you honor cuss. But I do have something that you do put in the fuel tank to help regulate to help keep the fuel system running. But we'll get to that mysterious helper in just a moment. This is your coolant for your engine, okay? Now, this is the actual concentrated version. You have to mix it yourself. Now, I know there's some of you out there that want to, that would like to buy the 50-50 pre-mix stuff. But before you do that, before you buy that pre-mix stuff, I'm going to give you a little economics here. This is the concentrate, sold at my local Walmart for about $10. Okay? The 50-50 mix is sold at about $7. Both come in 1-gallon jugs. All right? Now, when that 50-50 mix is empty, that's it. That's all you got. That 1 gallon for about $7. This one, I have to split it. I have to basically put half in one jug and leave the other half in this one. Then I fill them up with water. That's your 50-50 mix. So literally for just $3 more, I doubled the amount of coolant that I can keep on hand for the cars. That's why I do that. So this is actually cheaper in the long run, even though you pay a couple dollars more, but you double the amount. So I know what some of you are saying, well, why don't they charge less for the 50-50 mix if that's the case? Because you also have to bear in mind, you're paying for the jug too. You're literally paying for the jug that it comes in too. That's why it costs that much. So this is one of those things, don't get ripped off when buying engine coolant. If take the time and mix it yourself. I know that's a hell of a thing to say. Do it yourself. Well, yeah, you're on the right channel. Do it yourself. Budget hot rodding. Now we're also on the subject. Over there is Project Lena's coolant, which is different than Project Spirit's. In the old days, for cars like Project Spirit, every car used the green stuff, the green engine, the green antifreeze. All of them used it. Every vehicle I knew used it. Okay. Nowadays, vehicles have this whole thing where you could only use a coolant for one vehicle and blah 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 blah, and it's back and forth like that. It's stupid. Okay. But nowadays, if you have a modern vehicle, now you have to, in a nutshell, the only way I know how to put it is you have to basically know the coolant for your vehicle. So when you go to put in the go to top off that radiator, make sure you have the right coolant going into that engine, into that radiator, because if you don't, you're going to screw up your engine just because you bought the wrong coolant type, when in the old days, this is what all the vehicles used. Again, we're back to a simpler time. All right. Now, it is cold out there, and it's hard to work on the vehicles, but preventative maintenance goes a long ways, guys. You've all seen this stuff. What the fuck does it do, right? What does this stuff do? That's easy. It removes water from your fuel tank and your fuel line. Now, TFZ, I don't know if you're still in the background. Keep this stuff on hand for your Camaro because of the fact that in the old days, and this is still a problem today, but more so days, really in the old days, like when your Camaro would have been new. The gas tanks during cold weather, like we've been getting, like here in Missouri, and I think where you guys live too, I know you guys have been getting a lot of cold weather. Make sure that you don't let your gas tank get below half a tank, or you need to run some of this in there with every time you put gas in. Okay, so if you say you decide to put only $10 of fuel in your Camaro, and you know you're not going to be driving in a whole lot, Make sure you put some of this in there, okay? And you run that down, it's almost empty, so you decide you're only going to put another $10 in there, put some more of this in there, because if you don't, you're going to get moisture in the fuel and it'll start running funny. I mean, a little bit doesn't hurt it, but as much as I'm actually talking about, because what happens is the cold weather will cause condensation inside of your fuel tank. So make sure you keep a bottle of this stuff handy. And as a matter of fact, I even recommend this for modern vehicles, because even though they're modern, gas tanks is gas tanks and gasoline is still gasoline. And that moisture problem is the same is the same for modern vehicles. And I'm also going to tell you this. Most modern vehicles, the fuel pump is inside the gas tank, and you're not supposed to run that vehicle less than a quarter of a tank of gas. So if your gas tank holds 16 gallons, or however, those of you who run liters, you can go ahead and do the math if you'd like. Basically, when that gauge gets down to a quarter of a tank, you are too low. You are supposed to fill that tank back up. If you don't, you could do potential damage to your fuel pump. So don't do that. So now that's a little something I learned not too terribly long ago. In Project Spirit, she doesn't care. Fuel pump's attached to the engine, and the fuel tank is out back underneath the trunk. That's how we did it for years. It worked just fine. Why'd they move it? I can tell you why. Because it's harder to change. That's why. Okay. Now, a little something I recommend anybody running at least once a month. Okay? Once a month. There you go. Smartest thing you'll ever do. Move it off of the frickin' out of the fuel tank. Move it out of that tank and get it back up where it's supposed to be on that engine. It could be an electric one, yes, but you could put that under the engine bay. You could move it anywhere. But putting it inside the fuel tank, you got to drop the fuel tank just to get the damn thing out. No. Okay. This mysterious stuff right here is going to be a lifesaver for your daily driver. This is a carburetor cleaner, fuel inject. Well, they used to say carburetor cleaner, fuel injector cleaner on the bottle, but nowadays there's not so many people using carburetors, so they kind of reverse the two. So now it says fuel injector cleaner, carburetor cleaner, and this is from Gum Out. Hashtag not sponsored, but I've used this stuff for years, and this is what I recommend for every vehicle. As a matter of fact, Wednesday, I already planned Project Lena. I take her over. She gets a full bottle of this, a full bottle of this, goes into the tank. Then I go in. Good idea. I would recommend Holly. I would recommend Holly. But I will be putting both of these in on a full tank. Now, what will happen is I will pull up to the pump. I will get out. I will put these in first. Then I'll go in and do my prepay. Come back out. Fill up Lena's gas tank. That way, as the gasoline goes in, it stirs all of this around, mixes it up real good. And then I'll run her for a couple of minutes down the road. Start getting that getting the fuel system treatment in there, along with some heat to clean out the lines and everything, get everything all nice. And Project Lena will actually run smoother and more fuel efficient just off of a couple of dollars at your local frickin' Walmart. Okay? Neat little trick. Neat little trick. And it cleans the fuel system out. And it also helps break up carbon inside of your engine. But if you want an old school secret, now there's actually a guy who actually got this wrong, and he's actually a really good mechanic here on YouTube, but he got it wrong. He got it wrong. And that was, believe it or not, it was Scotty Kilmer. And Scotty Kilmer is one of the best one of the best on-screen mechanics. He can outdo even your dear old friend Prince Magnum here, 1,000 times over. He's very knowledgeable, almost 50 years in automotive. No joke. We're talking. He's seen cars of all sizes and shapes. You know, knows his stuff, and he still keeps his finger on the pulse of modern vehicles, whereas I do not. I'm not really interested in learning about modern vehicles after the year 2006 because they're not that good. Oh yeah, I know some of y'all. I know there's one of you that say, "Oh, they have more technology." Buy a cellular device, okay, and very good. Yes, 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 yes. TFC, you nailed it on the head. Unless you know that cheap brand is actually kind of an offshoot of a more expensive brand. And let me explain. Over there, I run basically it's a store brand, and I use this in Project Spirit. It's basically a store brand, you know, conventional motor oil from Rural King. Project Spirit loves that motor oil. As a matter of fact, it's actually so good that we even run the right the right weight, obviously, in Project Lena. So that should tell you it's a good oil. Have no problems out of it. It's amazing stuff. This is good quality oil, but it's a store brand. Well, from what I understand, it is one of the major manufacturers. It basically, I don't know, I can't remember if he said it was Valvoline or if it was Pennzoil or Quaker State, but it is a name brand company that does make that motor oil, and it just and basically Rural King has an offshoot, basically an off-brand company that they call Harvest King or something to that effect, and they package up the oil. So it's quality stuff, bought at a fraction of the price. So sometimes you can go into your Tractor Supply places, and if you ask the right people behind the counter or working those aisles, they sometimes can tell you where the product comes from. And I know Napa Auto Parts is able to do the same exact thing, and you could basically get store brand stuff that inside the bottle it is name brand stuff. It's just a little bit cheaper because it's been packaged by the actual company, so they can knock a little bit of the money off and save you a lot of money in the long run. It's a little secret. Most people don't know that. But there are some companies that, okay, let me put it like this. I have tried some of the fuel system treatments from like Dollar Tree and Project Spirit. I was actually going to kind of do a review on that, but then I kind of forgot, I had a million irons in the fire, which that seems to be a thing here on this fucking channel. I had too many irons in the fire and I could not do that video. Well, it didn't do bad, but it wasn't that great either. As you mentioned, TFC, I ended up changing fuel filters a lot sooner than I should have. Now that could have been it could have just been circumstances, but as often as I change my fuel filter that isn't connected to the carburetor, because I have one that's before the fuel pump. By changing that, I don't have to worry about the one on the carburetor all the time. I change it maybe once every 6 months to once a year at best, if I feel like it. It never gets clogged because I have one way before the fuel pump. And you guys have seen me change that a million times. I've had someone say, good God, look at that coming out of there. It looks nasty and disgusting. Well, it did the same exact thing, but only it was doing it every couple of months on that stuff. So this is one of these times I'm going to tell you that get the good stuff. Get the good stuff. Now, I did notice, and I might try it, Walmart has a SuperTech brand that's packaged awfully similar to Gum Out. So there's an excellent chance that what the contents in that bottle are pretty much Gum Out, but they knocked a couple of cents off because it's a Walmart company and it's exclusive to Walmart. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So make sure that you get a good brand, and the one brand that I recommend for a fuel treatment, a fuel system treatment, complete gum out. Gum out is the best. If you don't want to get gum out, STP is the next best choice. Either one of those two can't go wrong, but gum out's my first go-to, usually because it's also the most affordable, but it's also the best. Another little secret, if you don't plan on, obviously you're not going to be running lawn equipment during the winter months. Actually, TFZ, do not use seafoam. Do not use seafoam. They have actually found it's a ripoff. You can use it once, yes, but they found it was a ripoff and it's actually wrecking engines. They found out it's wrecking engines. It's doing all sorts of ridiculous damage to them. Not to mention blowing head gaskets, cracking pistons, screwing up valves. No. You want to get rid of those deposits? Oh, I got you covered, buddy. Old school. Marvel's Mystery Oil. This is the one that Scotty Kilmer got wrong. Okay? This whole bottle here will treat Project Spirit. You put half of it in your engine oil and the other half on a full tank. Okay? And when you put this in your gasoline, it lubricates the fuel pump. It breaks up any deposits inside of your engine that you need to get rid of. It cleans it out perfectly. You will not have another problem. And it does the same job as seafoam, but it doesn't blow up your fucking engine. Seafoam is nasty stuff. They have found that it does horrible things to engines. There's been in the last, not just like at the tail end of 2019, when the whole seafoam thing came to a screeching halt, and this is why it's going on sale. My source of info was actually here on YouTube, where people were actually finding that it was actually destroying engines. We're fine. It hasn't. You haven't had trouble with it, but how often do you use it? We're talking. This is prolonged use. This is my go-to, and it's a lot cheaper than seafoam, and it doesn't do the damage. To give you an idea, they tell you how long they've been that this has been around since 1923. I think they know their stuff here. So this is what I recommend. Also, little life hack about Marvel's Mystery Oil. Instead of whenever Spirit's door hinges start squeaking, I keep a bottle up there. Yeah, you can't see it. I actually keep a spray bottle of Marvel's Mystery Oil, and I spray it on her door hinges and kind of work it around. They don't squeak. A little secret. You can do that on door hinges, all sorts of stuff. All sorts of stuff. That's an old hack. Old hack. But I keep and this will actually also work on Project Lena. Just follow the directions on the bottle. That's it. But yeah, the whole seafoam thing, we last year, it was a tail end of 2019. A lot of that started coming to a screeching halt. They still make it, yes, but they still make that restore in a can, that restore stuff that's in a can, and you pour it in your engine, and it's supposed to bring back the life of your engine. And there's guys that found that it was cracking cylinder walls. They still make that, but yeah, no, that is not. No. And when I heard about it, I was like, "There's something wrong with this. It's a ripoff." And then come to find out, it really was. But they still make it and they still put it on shelves because people still buy it. There's not a whole buyer beware sort of thing with the automotive world, because if it blows up, you got to buy a new one. That's what they expect you to do. But yeah, I know you haven't had trouble with it yet, but that's the key word, yet. And even if it wasn't a ripoff, it's still a ripoff because you're paying for what this can do the same job. There was actually a guy, I forget who it was off top of my head, but yeah, that whole seafoam thing came to a screeching halt, and there was this whole thing showing up all over YouTube. About the tail end of 2019, it started coming across my feeds because I get a lot of hot rodder feeds, and basically they're saying, "Hey man, buyer beware, seafoam's a ripoff. It did this to my engine." And I mean, just it blew head gaskets, and then when they got the heads off, the valves were all jacked up. Yep. So you haven't had a problem with it yet. That's the key word. And as a matter of fact, my old partner, Jammin' John, tried to convince me on that. And you know what ended up happening? I said that is a ripoff. And I showed him a couple of videos, on what Marvels can do for a fraction of the cost. He's like, bro, really? Why do you got to be that freaking smart? He's like, you know your stuff about cars. So even if it wasn't a ripoff, it's still a ripoff because for this to do the same job as Seafoam, I only paid $5. Seafoam's about $8 where I live. Oh, I'm sorry. No, this was $4. $4 versus $8. Yeah. What's going on? There is my boy, Rodney. Kind of going over some knowledge on cars, stuff that'll save you money in the long run. We just went over engine coolant, which I'll touch base on that just for you. And then I was giving away the secrets of basically cleaning your fuel system so you don't have to replace the fuel filter or the fuel pump as often. I was giving away some knowledge on some actual additives that I use in both my baby, Project Spirit. Rodney, have you seen Project Spirit? Rodney, come on, have you seen it? Oh, you did a video on that? Awesome. Awesome. I use gum out. That's what I use in both of the cars, modern and old. And during the winter months, definitely got to use this stuff. Always keep some of that on hand. And then I was just talking about the whole seafoam thing. This does it cheaper, does the same job, cheaper, and it doesn't blow up your engine. Seafoam, they just found that seafoam is not that, bad juju. But Rodney, have you ever seen Project Spirit? I don't know if you've ever seen Project Spirit. You must see Project Spirit. Project Spirit is my 1975 Ford Maverick. Have you seen the girl? Have you seen my car, basically? If you haven't, we'll take a walk real quick. I'll get cold for this. No? Let's take a walk. Let's take a quick walk. You're going to see Project Spirit live. How does that sound? I'm scared of the dark. Somebody hold me. All right. That is Project Spirit. That is my 1975 Ford Maverick four-door. What's something different? That's his favorite car. By the way, that's Project Lena, Princess Faye's 2003 Pontiac Grand Am GT. But that is Project Spirit. Still daily driven. I still drive her every day like a regular car. So she's not some weekend warrior. She's the real deal. She's on this channel, the ginger dinger, if you will. The go-to project car. The true star. That's why I always say I'm the host, not the star. That's the star of the channel. You will often hear me say that the Prince Magnum channel is the house that Project Spirit built. What's under the hood? Her original inline six, an inline 250. Now, for I know everyone's used to liters nowadays. Anything custom? Yes. We just got through putting in a cut. Basically, we changed her over from a 3-speed manual to a 3-speed automatic. Ding dong. Hey, what's going on? There's Megan. So yes. Hey, what's going on, Shadow? Her original inline six. Now, real quick, in liters, it's a 4.1 liter inline six. So, if you will, the performance, for those that like their V8s, for a while in Mustang, you got the 4.6 and 4.8. So that inline six is almost as big as the performance V8s that were in the Mustangs. Is a ton of videos about Project Spirit all over the channel. Tons of them. Where do you want to begin? All the way back to, matter of fact, I'll send it over to Megan, but we did. Megan actually got to see, and I know you remember this, the last big run as Project Spirit as a 3-speed manual. That one where I was hot footing it down an old country highway, and she the whole time she's like, I swear to God, it's like I'm in the car. And that whole video, that particular road, even modern vehicles really can't get past. Oh, that was it. Yeah, I enjoyed that video. I enjoyed doing that video. It was a lot of fun. On that road, I will just tell you this now. On that road, modern vehicles can't even get past 70. I had Project Spirit up to 90 in some of those places, 80 and 90 miles an hour. That car still got it. There's even video footage that I've had to restore, but there is video footage of Project Spirit outrunning a 2012, 2013 Camaro, and I topped out at 130 miles an hour in that video. I didn't even have her a year yet when I did that. Oh yeah, and I know Think Different is in here now, so he'll know the road that I'm talking about. Yeah, you're like, what the hell? 41 years old and I still got it. I still got it behind the wheel. Telling you, I can still hold it. Back in the old days, when I was a teenager in the late 90s, every area still had their own guy that was like the one to beat. You know, the guy that was the one to beat in street racing. Well, where I lived, there was 4 of us. And notice how I put that. One of them I just seen today. Oh, thanks so much, Megan. We're just going over some old car maintenance stuff. It's pretty cool stuff. Kind of alluding to that series for all of you ladies out there. We're actually doing a hot rodder series for you ladies, specifically designed for the ladies. Right? Good old days. Well, you know how, okay, so you know what I'm talking about. In the old days, how every area had their one hot rodder or 1 or 2 hot rodders, the guys to beat, had the fastest cars. You know the one I'm talking about from where you lived. Well, there was 4 of us. We weren't quite the 4 horsemen, if you will, but there was 4 of us that were the ones to beat. Okay, and notice how I put that. One guy, his thing was old Camaros, and he had a 60s Camaro, good looking car. But then for his graduation present, his dad bought him a 1994 Camaro, a 4th generation Camaro. Well, he decided to take it racing one night, and he didn't make it home. This was just 6 months after graduation. He was getting ready to go off to college, and that was it. Um, and there's many of us that believe if he would have taken his old Camaro, it might have been a different story. But he topped out. He topped out at a ridiculously fast speed on that old country road, racing that guy. A lot of people seen it. Yeah. So he's gone. That was oh my gosh, that was old Donnie. My gosh, I hadn't thought about that in a little. I talked about Donnie a while back. It's been a while since I've talked about Donnie. Then there was another one of us, uh, old Jamie. He was one of the ones to beat. He had a an Olds Cutlass. It was about an '85 Olds Cutlass, good looking car. It didn't look like much on the outside, but on the everywhere else, oh buddy, he even had the Hearst shifter on the floor. Because where I lived, it was still a lot of old school stuff like that. You didn't even bother bringing in the imports. We would mash them. We would stomp them in the ground, and then we'd laugh you off the laugh you out of there. Didn't bother because you didn't have any. None of the imports then could keep up with us. So that was old Jamie, old Jamie one, and he had a built 350 under the hood of that thing. Ooh, I couldn't remember if it was an Olds 350 or if it was a Chevy 350. It might have been a Chevy 350, come to think of it. But it was well built. Hmm. What is it? Holla. But so that was that, and he doesn't race anymore. He still builds, but he doesn't race. Then there's my old buddy T-Bone. He loved anything truck. If you got him behind the wheel of a pickup truck, Chevy pickup truck, you weren't going to catch him. He'd outrun you. He knew how to make a four-wheel drive truck outrun a sports car. I don't know how the man did it, but because most pickup trucks back then had the trim characteristics of a brick, and he'd make them things fly. And he did all sorts of crazy stuff with trucks back then. He doesn't necessarily build them anymore like that, but he could still work on them. As a matter of fact, him and I, between the two of us, we did the front disc brake conversion on Project Spirit. So that should tell you something. He does amazing work with front ends. Now, now, then the fourth one, you're looking at number four from that time frame. And my thing was anything second generation Camaro back then. I had a 1978 Camaro Berlinetta that when I got it had a very anemic 305. And I went out to start her one day and she just turned over a couple times and threw a connecting rod right through the side of the oil pan. So that was the end of that. That engine was yanked out and a 400 cubic inch small block Chevy went under the hood. You know, the crankshaft that's the basis for the 383 stroker. Oh, okay. Scotty Kilmer does fail in some areas, but he wasn't the only one that reviewed it. Really. But still yet, this is still cheaper. Trust me on this. Just trust me. Scotty Kilmer does know a lot of his stuff about the older stuff. He does know his stuff about, but he does fail in some areas, and there's no question about that. Um, but they have found there. He wasn't the only one that caught that. There was a big like slam the door shut sort of thing on that. Now that could have just been that the engines were already bad to begin with. That is a possibility because some people just abuse vehicles and they really should not. You know, it's like you really should not own a vehicle ever. It could even, and for the record, TFZ, there even could have been of just a bad batch that made it to the public, and it just so happened someone doing a review like that happened to get that bad batch. That does happen too. Exactly. So that is also a possibility too. So, but I still recommend this over Seafoam because you'll pay half the price, okay? Or thereabouts. So this is literally almost like half the price of Seafoam. So, and it does the same thing. Does the same exact thing, but it does more. That's why I choose this. And this is actually what I use, okay? And there's a million things, and it's still a fairly new company at that, compared to this, okay? So you're going to get things like that that does happen. Yeah, Marvel's is the best, in my opinion. I'll tell anybody that right now. You're better off going with that. So, back to street racing. And believe it or not, after the Camaro, I got into full size running full size cars, and that's all I prefer to run is full size. So technically speaking, Project Spirit is considered a compact to her day, so she doesn't exactly fit the criteria. And when I say full size, I'm talking like your old Chevy Impalas from the '80s or Chevy Caprice Classics from the '80s, something that size. And I know right now Rodney's like, oh yeah, those big old boats. You like those? Yeah, I like those big cars. I like them big. I like them bulky because they're comfortable. No, you didn't tell me. We haven't talked to each other in a while. So you took her out running, huh? Okay. you better got some video footage. I gotta see that. I gots to see it, man. Actually, shh, sneaky peeky. You guys want a sneak peek? A sneaky peeky? Shh. You guys get an exclusive sneaky peeky. You should have recorded it. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Wrong files. Oh. Oh, wow. Okay. I know, think different. Note if he's still in the background, he'll recognize this stretch of road. What's going on, Raven? Oh, that sucks. Here's where I open her up. The cameras, my digital camera. Hey, what's up, J-Dog? My digital camera is actually having difficulty keeping up with how fast I'm actually starting to go. I come around the bend and then I really open her up. I decided to back off and keep her at 110. Uh-huh. I figured. Yeah, Think Difference watching this. He's probably sitting there about to have a heart attack. And there's an open stretch. So there's your sneaky peek at some video footage that's going to be coming out. Project Spirit up to a grand total of 110 on that road. That was double O just outside of Farmington. Well, coming out of Fredericktown, heading towards Farmington. So think different. If you're still in the background, I know you're having like, what the actual hell? You were going that fast on that road? Yes, it was. In Project Spirit? Yes, it was. And I still had a little bit of pedal left to go. What are you talking about? That was only like 3 weeks ago, before the bad weather got here. That's shortly after the new year. I got wild hair and was like, I'm going to get this video footage. I know she'll do it. She'll do that stuff all day long. I also know how, I've done stuff like that for years. In Mexico. Yeah. We're just kind of chit-chatting about car stuff. I was talking about the brand. Well, I just did an unboxing also of a new tool set. Brand new tools. And they're made the way that I like my tools to be. Not cheap. The 6-point for the sockets. That's already a dead giveaway that these are good quality. They make those ones that got like more points than that, but they never hold up. They always get chewed out on the inside. I always like my 6-pointers. Just like that. New socket wrench. Don't know if I'm going to like this thing or not. It's not locking into place like I want it to. But hey, it is what it is. Yeah, the 12-point, yeah, I don't like those. They always get chewed up real easy. Got both metric and, yep, strips everything. Exactly. They're junk. Junk. And I have a Zelda playing at the door. Here. Yep, yep. Well, we're getting ready to throw out a bunch of tools. Oh yeah, she gotten a lot bigger. Zelda. 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 Gonna say if you grab Queen, she'll go nuts right about now. No. Oh, yeah. Oh, I just seen that. You got more. I'm gonna say I think my cat just took over my stream. Oh, she's already watching. Yeah. That, yep, she's gotten big. She's gotten a lot bigger. Zelda. She's gotten big, hadn't she? Not exactly the little baby anymore, is she? She has gotten big. She has gotten big. I know you all, don't worry, I've got video footage. I'll put it up. I'll put it up. Might just have to get on that and have it up for about 2 o'clock. Well, I'll wait for to be out. Yeah, she's not exactly a baby anymore. She's still the baby, but she's not a baby anymore. Yep. I already got video footage for you guys. I'll put it up as quickly as I can for like Wednesday. Wednesday good for you guys? Video on Zelda. True story about that cat. Okay. I had just got through doing a 12-hour stream of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I was exhausted. Exhausted. Princess Faye, we already knew we were getting a kitten. What are we going to name her? She comes in the door. If you got a name, I said, I can't think of anything. She said, let's name her Zelda. You just got through with that stream. Let's name her Zelda. I said, yeah, let's go for it. So Zelda got her name after that stream. Well, the funny thing is, about a week later, I'm sitting down playing the same exact game. And as soon as I go to defeat Calamity Ganon, of all the things, she looks up and, sees Ganon up there. She kind of scrunches down and does this pitiful little meow. It's just scared to death and goes running to the other room. Just runs out of the living room. So she lived up to her namesake. She ran when she seen Ganon. She got one look. Said, nope. She noped out of there on us. Right now, Queen's going, oh, the poor baby. I don't know, as feisty as she gets now, she'd probably try to take him on. Be batting at the screen. Come on, let's go. There you go. Get to dry up, making the upgrades and everything. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But basically, but yeah, those are the fuel additives that we'll be running. And we're going to do a whole video on it. But I wanted to give you guys kind of a sneak peek, inside track, whatever you want to call it. But again, this is one of the fuels. Basically, it's going to be a combination of these two things making it the project cars. That's it. And I'll be filming that out Monday. Well, I'm sorry, Wednesday, and hopefully have it ready to start helping kick off that series. Which right after this stream, I got to get to editing that series. I also got another video to edit out as well. Running off to save Princess Faye after she had 2 flat tires. She came out at work and 2 flat tires, and I had to go pick her up from work and everything else. It was something. It was something, that was for sure. And had to replace 3 out of 4 of the tires, and it was just a nightmare. It's one of them things. It happens. Which I'm hoping Wednesday as well. I'll be taking Spirit over to also get 2 brand new back tires because the last snow that we had got a little crazy. I didn't wreck, but it got a little crazy because she tried to kick out a couple of times. I was like, oh shit. Can't do that. Can't do that. When you have an automatic, that's kind of what I was thinking too. Oh, Megan wants a cat, but the dogs won't allow it. Yeah. Yep. Well, don't worry. I got a cat video. She'll go nuts over. Just go nuts. Promise. Promise. Tons of, got some video footage of Zelda playing. You can hear her in the hallway playing right now. Zelda. See if I can get her attention. Yeah. Hang on. I'm gonna say grab Megan. I got her. I got it. Zelda. Get him. She is now. She's been playing hard. My cat has taken over the stream. But that's Zelda for you. You ever want to see a live stream go ape shit? Just put a kitten on there. People love cats. Unless you're where I live, and then they do horrible things to cats, especially if it's a black cat. You got some sick people down here. Yes, gravity works, you shit stain. Over there knocking stuff over. Cats do that. I don't know why they do that. Like gravity still works, you dweeb. I don't know why they do that. Yeah, I've cut back on my smoking, like severely. Like I don't smoke very much, except when I'm driving. Yep, right now, there she goes. Which we're getting ready to do a V8 swap to Spirit. I think we're gonna see if we can find. Hey, what's going on, Mikey G? Yeah. Here, let's see if I can get her to come over here. Ah, shit. Mikey G, you keep asking. If she'll sit still long enough. Ah, she was just over here. Now, hold on a second there, TFZ. You kind of touched on an interesting subject. She already is. She's more of a vintage hot rod than anything else. And there's a reason why. And most people don't know this. Before V8s were as widespread as we think they are now, which they're starting to fade away again. What's going on, third gen 83? Good to see you, buddy. We're actually slowly winding it down. We just went over some of the stuff that we're going to be doing a video on later in the week. And then, of course, we had some Zelda time. Here, can I? Here. Oh, just for a moment. There you go. Little Zelda time for it. Mikey G, there you go, buddy. You keep asking about her. Oh, I know you want to go play. But everyone's dying from your cuteness. You're slaying them dead right now. You want down? Do you want down? Okay. Um, Now, there was a time in hot rod culture, and we're talking, this goes way back, way back. Uh, and this even goes back to the days when Ford had their flathead V8s. Most of the time, people could not afford to customize uh, those flathead V8s. Now, it didn't mean that it didn't happen, but there was a lot of people that would find like old Model Ts and Model As and vehicles like that had 4 cylinders and 6 cylinders back then. And that was their she's almost a year old. She's on yeah. Zelda's almost a year old. And so in this particular case, going back to those times, you know, that's what people hot rodded was 4 cylinders and 6 cylinders. Now, around the 1950s, we started seeing V8 production obviously scale up with Chevrolet small block and of course the FE Fords and so on and so on and so on. In the 60s, you still seen the V8 was the way to go. But there was still the occasional guy that would come along with the 6-cylinder and would whoop up on the guys with the V8s. In the 70s, you would still hear of this. You heard of it still happening in the 80s. And this was still a thing even in the 90s. You would still find this one guy. Sure, Raven. Lay it on me. So by the end of the 90s, that started kind of going away. Yes. But there is still the occasion where you might every once in a while hear a story where a guy with an old inline 6 will whoop up on the guys with the V8s. And then when the hood is popped and they see that old 6-cylinder there, they get pissed off. And that's actually a thing where it is the only reason why we're doing that engine swap is number one, that engine's not going to last forever. All the problems of the 70s that was there is still there. And it's starting to become a problem, basically those typical problems. Well, be careful. That's actually a question that I would suggest we kind of corner me later. Okay. Uh, you know, there's a time when it comes to being, there's nothing wrong with showing off and being good, but you have to be careful. There's always that line never want to cross. And especially in the position that you and I are in, being here, on YouTube, because if there's one lesson that I will pass on to any content creator, you can go from hero to villain on YouTube like that. You can go from a hero to a villain very easy. So do be careful. Well, a simple yes or no is in this particular case, because the question you're asking is a little bit more involved than just the simple yes or no. And one of basically things that I want to caution you on and areas where I see, man, don't change a fucking thing. Because you ask an honest opinion, I want to make sure I give you the best honest answer I can. Okay? That's one of those things that it's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? And see, Rodney, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because you're on, and the bigger your channel gets, bigger your channel gets, the easier it is to fall into that trap. So always be very, very careful. Always be very careful. All right. So that is a secret for all content creators out there. If you want the number one secret that I will tell you guys, that would be it. If there's a secret to success, where you live, though, six cylinders don't hold up too well where you're at. That's why. You live in an area where you've got to have the big engines. And because, gosh dang it, you live in the goddamn mountains, okay? You live like, and where you're at, it is serious. As a matter of fact, I remember actually reading not too long ago. Yes, I still do that. That Oldsmobile. Exactly, exactly. But even then, you still got to be careful how you even present that. I have fun. I don't care if I'm good or bad. I'm just having fun. I'm just having fun. A lot of the rage you hear is just acting. Yeah, I just told on myself. I'm acting. I'm acting. But yeah, yeah, where you live, third gen though, truth of it is, no six cylinder really lasts up there because of the environment you live in and the jetting that has to be done. You live in the goddamn mountains, man. When it snows up there, it snows for real. Down here, I mean, the humidity alone would probably kill you. And then living in, going from the elevation change I did, yeah. Yep. But yeah, that's the honest to goodness truth there when it comes to stuff here on YouTube. And that's why I said, you hear about it every now and again, but doing the inline six to me was kind of like a rite of passage. I couldn't call myself a vintage hot rodder if I didn't mess around with an old inline six. And it's always been kind of one of my bucket list things. Yeah, come to Michigan. Actually, I wouldn't mind it. There's actually another content creator out there does a lot of Ford stuff. Really cool guy. Right. But yeah, that's I mean, in all honesty, um, where I live, that's actually a thing. And I remember hearing these stories, and I've seen a few of these stories. Matter of fact, there's even the legend of a particular street sleeper that's still alive and well down here, and people are looking for the street sleeper. Been gone for many years. Nobody knows what happened to it. It was like whoosh, one day, no one heard about it anymore. But there was actually a Volkswagen street sleeper that was interesting. I never heard anything about of it, but everyone knew of the car, and my dad actually went up against it and lost his ass to it. But that's another subject for another time when we kind of cover street sleepers again. And I'll even kind of throw in, yeah, but yeah, where third gen lives, inline sixes don't hold up too well. And well, most of the engines up that way don't hold up, period. But you need the extra because of the elevation change. We'll have to do a science one on that one. Yeah, I actually have a whole science thing. Why where I live, you can get an inline six to last a million miles, but that same inline six, say where third gen lives, is going to hold up past 250,000 miles. And as a matter of fact, I know in 1977, Oldsmobile offered a high elevation package for their vehicles. Yeah, they actually had to offer a high elevation package for vehicles that were going to be spending most of their time up in the mountainous areas. Usually offered on their all their V8 powered vehicles. And by this time, all the car companies were probably doing something similar, I would imagine. I'm not 100% on that, but I know Oldsmobile was one of them. That's true. There are some V8s that get lucky enough to last. The modern V8s have their advantages and their disadvantages, but now you're getting into a subject that's set for a video. We'll have to definitely get into that. Fuel injection does have its advantages, but it also has its disadvantages, and we'll dive into that. Just whereas carburetor has its advantages and its disadvantages, both of them. It just depends on what you're going to do with them. Build them how, and I will say this right now. Um, there you will catch overtones of regional thing when it comes to what I do. You will catch some of that, but then again, that doesn't mean that I'm necessarily 100% right. And there's an old saying now that's starting to make its way back into the hot rod community, and thank God for it. Respect the ride, respect the build. Because it's just a matter of taste at that point. I've always wanted to do an inline six from Ford. Ford had some of the best inline sixes you'd ever ask for. And now I've got that, I've had that opportunity to work on one, and I've had a lot of fun with it. And we've made some really awesome videos with those. Absolutely. But I like my old V8s for a reason. They're simple, easy to work on. And this is the longest I've ever been without a V8 powered vehicle. I will tell you all that right now. But I've been having fun with the inline six. I've had a lot of fun with the inline six, but it isn't going to hold up forever because all the problems that were there in the 70s is still there. Like, you know, how all of them back in the 70s leaked oil in some way, shape, or form. Well, the problem is that Spirit's starting to show more and more signs of those 70s cars as time has went on. And basically now it's to the point where it's like, okay, I could rebuild it, but because of the fact that inline sixes, most of the stuff for the inline sixes have all faded into obscurity. Oh yeah, well now the V6 V8 rivalry, now that's a whole nother ball game. Inline six V8 rivalry, there's always the exception to the rule. V6 V8, yeah, you know what camp I fall in. Don't bother even bringing me a V6. Oh God, don't even get. What camp do I fall in? Camaro. Camaro all the way, man. Camaro all the way. That's why when we had Project Beauty, our 96 Mustang, I looked right at Princess Faye and said, you do realize you're asking me to be a traitor. You're asking me to be a traitor right now, and I'm not happy. That car and I had a love-hate relationship. Yeah, I'm getting ready to do the same. Getting ready to shut her down for the night. I'm going to go kind of chill out a little bit before Princess Faye has to go to work. She's got to work again tonight. I go to work tomorrow and work kind of some odd hours, but then I'll come home and kind of get ready for the big event for Tuesday night over on Fortnite. Usually Gamerian does it. I don't know who's doing it this time around. Um, and then once I finish that, I'm probably going to stay up a good while in the evening working on Save the World because there's an event that I'm wanting to do. I didn't get to do it for January. I just did not have the time. So bad. If you're somewhere in the background, probably going to have you give me a hand with that. We're going to be doing that, the Save the World weapons giveaway, which will be a lot of fun. I might even have to drag you along on that because that it turns into a lot of fun. You'll meet all walks of life doing that. So that's kind of the game plan. Um, I've got a couple videos to edit tonight, and then I'm gonna turn in. You take it easy there, Rodney. All right. So Wednesday is gonna be my busy day. We will be streaming again Wednesday. Tomorrow, I will not be streaming tomorrow. We're still ironing out the details, and I'm going to try to have some sort of a cool video for you guys this Wednesday, some sort of a nice little premiere for right around 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Look for it because the debate is on what I'm going to basically put up, and that's pretty much it. All righty. So that does bring us to a good stopping point. I hope you all got a little something out of it. We're gonna kind of go over just a little bit of everything throughout this month. We're gonna get back into some surviving romance. I've kind of had to jockey that around. I, Third gen. I've had a lot of V8s in my time. I've had a lot of them, and yes, I do love them. But this is one of these times that this was on my bucket list. This is just one of those things that was on my bucket list, of things, kind of that rite of passage to have had an inline six powered vehicle and to do some pretty cool stuff with it. This was on my bucket list, and I've got to do it. And I've had a lot of fun doing it. But come on, man. At some point, either A, I was going to rebuild that thing and turn it, hey, what's going on, Papa Kronos? You knew I was either going to A, rebuild it and turn it into some V8 killer, or I was going to go ahead and do a V8 swap and do something so old school, it would be too cool to not notice. And that's what we're going to do is the V8 swap that's going to be so old school. I mean, yeah, I already know. You don't have to tell me. Having that nice rumbling exhaust, and we already know that I'm going to have so much freaking fun. You know, that's just the way it's going to be. You know, and I'm already starting to put my feelers out into the hot rod community, looking for that specific V8, that one, that one that is so quintessential to all classic Ford owners. The quintessential V8, the true V8 that says that this is where it's at. And you know the one I'm talking about. If you say 5.0 or 302, you are off. You are in the ballpark, but not the one. I'm looking for that one that, well, we're going back to the 60s to find this one. So, all righty. That brings us to a good stopping point because I got some stuff I got to go take care of. So, that being said, get out there and work on a project. I don't care what it is, just do something with yourself. Remember, idle hands and a creative mind go together like oil and water. If you have a sweetheart, sweep them off their feet and do something special for them today. And as always, for all of you out there, if no one out there has told any of you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you and have a happy 24. Thank you.